Okay, so good morning, everyone. Before we start our class, may I request Miss May to lead us the prayer? Okay, amen. Thank you for that. And now, before we start, let me check the attendance first. I believe that no one is absent for today's discussion. Okay, so no one is absent. So let me just present to you first a video presentation about our topic for today's discussion. Let me just share to you my screen. Okay, so I believe that you have seen the video presentation. So let me just share to you now my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so our topic for today's discussion is one of the four macro skills, which is speaking. So speaking is an important skill that one should possess, and this skill cannot be presented or cannot be won't happen without the presence of language. Language is primarily a speech. A very large number of languages in the world are only spoken with no writing script. Majority of languages, even with writing script, use their spoken forms more than the written ones. So a lot of people usually chose to speak rather than write. According to Rao 2012, the experts believe about developing skills that of four macro skills, listening and speaking are taught and learned in quick succession. The teacher introduces the language item in the class and the learners situational it. Speech is the best introduction to the language item in the class, diba? As we grow old, we learn how to speak from our mom, our parents, our dad. So classroom activities and tasks for practicing speaking skills. These are dialogue, role play, opinion or ideas, problems, surveys and interviews, visual comprehension, dreams and ambitions, rhymes and tongue twisters. So these activities enables the students or the child to improve their speaking skills by the help, of course, with the teachers and their classmates. So in teaching speaking skills, there are teachers and learners role. So let's start first with the teacher's role. According to Anuradha et al. 2014, teachers play a significant role in stimulating interaction and developing speaking skills. These role as follows. The teacher must be fluent and accurate in speaking elements of the language so as to be a role model for the learners. Second, the teacher asks questions to simulate the learners to practice the target language. Third, throwing questions and compelling them to answer something is one of the type of oral drills. Just like oral recitation, you can ask students while discussing your topic, and so that you will be able to help them develop their speaking skills, their speech skills. Further, encouraging students to ask questions to the teachers and peers is also a good technique to propel discussion and involve learners to speak. Next is the students' role. First is students should be conversational and courteous. Especially in greetings and other expressions. Second, ask questions and answer them to maintain dialogue with other classmates and the teacher. Conversational. Strive for building vocabulary, acquiring fluency, and achieving accuracy. Make an attempt to better pronunciation, appropriate intonation, and stress in expressions of ideas and feelings. Now, concepts of speaking, on teaching speaking rather. So participating in ice breaking activities. We meet people on a regular basis daily. We should know how to communicate with them. Our communication starts with greeting as well as self-introduction. So as I have mentioned earlier, that students should be conversational and courteous when greeting. Introducing oneself to others. When introducing yourself, you may begin with greetings such as hello, good morning, or good afternoon. I am happy, I'm glad to see you. You can use that phrases when greeting someone. Next, the third one, describe people and things. Now, this part is somewhat sensitive. So when it may result to maybe racism when used incorrectly. So when you describe someone or other people about when like talking about their height, build, eyes, hair color, you have to be sensitive enough to by using this technique so that you won't be misunderstood by other people and that your conversation would go freely and stress-free. Next is expressing ideas and opinions and supporting them. In most conversations, we express our opinions about the given topic or point of view. Not just with this technique, we cannot just improve our speaking skills, but also our critical thinking skills because we express our ideas and opinions about a certain topics that is presented. Next is making suggestions and recommendation. We normally offer suggestions and recommendations when we are asked for our opinion of a certain matter by our family members or even friends, acquaintances. So when giving your suggestions and recommendation, you should be as practical and as specific as you can, because the person who has asked for your opinion needs to have sufficient information to carry out what you have suggested. Next is stating or justifying point of view. Justifying your opinion is explaining or giving a justification for your points of view, right? So you can use the words like, in my opinion, I'm certain that as far as I'm concerned, or I think that, or I have no doubt that. So you can use that words or expressions to state your point of view. Next is reviewing language functions in social and academic situations. Language functions refer to the purposes of the language that we use to communicate in social and academic functions. The examples of this are greeting people, asking for information, expressing likes and dislikes, expressing agreements or disagreements, comparing and contrasting, persuading, solving problems, sequencing, showing cause and effect, predicting, complaining, complementizing or complementing, and summarizing. Next is vocabulary and language expression. It is important to know the vocabulary and phrases that are associated with the language and functions. When you're familiar with the vocabulary and language expression introduced, it is very advisable for you to acquire more advanced functional vocabulary. So this also includes greeting people, information, asking information, expressing likes and dislikes, just like I have mentioned earlier. Next is delivering a group presentation. Good speakers are difficult to find, as we all know. A few good speakers who are well known are listed here are Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, David Lim, Oprah Winfrey, the late Steve Jobs. So this speaking skill, as we all know, needs to be practiced or needs a lot of practice to be a good speaker, to be an effective speaker. You cannot just be a good speaker. We have to communicate effectively with someone or other people that we converse with. To be a good speaker, a student needs to know 4 main things that he or she interact effectively. And these are and these are group presentation. A group presentation needs 3 to 4 members. Yeah, just like I have mentioned earlier. Next is delivering an individual presentation. Speaking can be intimidating task. Students can be good speaker if they know the right way. So just like I have mentioned earlier in the group presentation, it is hard to be good at speaking because it needs a lot of practice to be a good speaker. Next is, okay, so I believe that is it for our today's discussion. So I will now present to you your assignment for tomorrow. So assignment, let me just share to you. Okay, so assignment. The students will be given a task to be presented next week. They will be given 5 days to prepare. So you guys will be given 5 days to prepare and present the piece of Charles Mackay titled If I Were a Voice. Record yourself by reading and be aware of proper pronunciation and intonation. So the rubrics for this the criteria contains organization, the flow and transition, delivery, the voice quality, the loudness and the softness of the voice, and the diction, nonverbal cues, and mastery. And of course, last is creativity. This includes the use of props and questions. So you will be rated from 4, which represents excellence, a 3 for very good, 2 for good, and 1 for insignificant or poor. So I believe that wraps up our lesson for today. I hope you have learned something. So I will see you in the next meeting. Goodbye, everyone.